Over the last few days, several developments, it appears, within the ANC. Both Business Day and Daily Maverick have reported that the party's head of coalitions, David Mukura, has written a report recommending the ANC stop working with the EFF. Also, Parliament deciding the former Transport Minister, Dipuo Peters, has broken its ethics regulations because of her actions when she was the Minister of Transport. As I understand it, she still denies wrongdoing. Dr Levy Ndou is a political analyst and lecturer in politics at the Tshwane University of Technology. Dr Ndou, good afternoon to you. Firstly, the ANC and the EFF, it seems there are difficulties in their working relationships in Joburg. And excuse me, Dr Ndou, that's the second time I've sneezed on air today. I do apologize. The ANC and the EFF's relationship in Joburg and Ekurhuleni, is this relationship working, or is this informal coalition not really sustainable?
Good afternoon, Stephen. Good afternoon to the viewers at home. These are the kind of views and proposals that we are going to get, not only from the ANC, also from other political parties. I say so because with the coalition arrangements or cooperation amongst political parties to work together in these municipalities, there is no clear agreement and guidelines that have been put that will be able to determine how this cooperation is supposed to work. At the same time, we have seen coalitions starting to work, and in the shortest space of time, they would not continue working because other parties might have decided to do things differently. You also have a situation which is a continuous phenomenon, wherein coalition partners, especially those who perceive themselves to have done a favor for the other party to be in government, they would make it difficult for the party or other coalition partners to be able to work. It might be the situation between the ANC and the EFF. And if there are no clear rules and regulations that they have to put down, which should be known by ordinary citizens, these are the kind of complaints that we'll continuously get, because there is constant element of untrustness, and continuous element of wanting to ensure that those that are in power are not comfortable, and that is done by coalition partners themselves.
Is it also maybe a comment about what's happening in the ANC? Some people in the ANC want to work with the EFF and some people don't. Could this actually be quite a divisive issue within the ANC itself?
It is the case with most political parties. Remember, Stephen, coalition agreements are being facilitated by those that are at national and provincial level. Those that are directly involved in the different metros and municipalities get instructions from the leadership. At the same time, coalition partners would know the actual position of the different political parties. So the way they behave or conduct themselves in a coalition would not matter anymore, because what they focus on mainly is only to establish a coalition, and how they navigate their working relations is a daily experience by these different politicians. And you would agree with me that equally, when others felt that the ANC should not enter into a coalition or a cooperation with the EFF, the same sentiments have been echoed by some within the EFF. And you'll recall the situation that happened with some members of the EFF in KwaZulu-Natal saying that we have been talking very badly about the ANC, and now in some municipalities, we therefore have to work with them. That is the situation that we have with our coalitions. And it takes us back to the situation that maybe political leaders should ensure that they consult with local people or those that are supposed to participate in a coalition because some of the leaders at local level are only told what to do, and they are actually left stranded on how to navigate on coalition activities.
There are other issues around this. I mean, we've seen, for example, the DA and the Freedom Front Plus both publicly and repeatedly ruling out working with the EFF. And I think the Freedom Front Plus also, and the ANC to an extent, saying they won't work with the ANC. And the reason they do that is that they're appealing to certain voters. They want certain voters to know they won't work with the EFF. Is this also an interesting problem for ANC voters, that voters, people voting for the ANC may want to know in advance who the ANC will work for, or does it not really matter?
Well, I think political parties have started to realize that as they've started the journey of coalitions, there is a strategy to regroup themselves and make pronouncements that will make their supporters to vote for them. You will recall that during the local government elections, different political parties made bold statements to say, we are not prepared to work with Party A, will not work with these other parties. And that actually changed immediately after the elections. But I think what is important now is that different political parties, in an attempt, in my view, to get certain sectors of society to vote for them, they're actually making these kind of pronouncements so that they don't have to find a situation where some of the traditional voters will say, we're not voting for you because you are in agreement, or there is a possibility that you might work with other parties that we do not like. The fact of the matter is that when politicians are campaigning, they will talk very badly about other political parties and influence their voters and supporters not to think about such political parties. And unfortunately, when they get to coalitions, the very same leaders are the ones who still go back and make an attempt and successfully work with such political parties. And that creates a lot of confusion on their members and supporters, and making a direct pronouncement on who to work for. It has a potential to assist the voters to know where their political parties stand, and it can also assist them to make them accountable about the choices that they've made.
Dr. Levy Ndou, thank you very much indeed. Political analyst and lecturer in politics at the Tshwane University of Technology.